Recently, I had a chance to meet Kelvin from KW Shrimps, Singapore's largest Caridina shrimp breeder. His shop was incredible, rows of tanks filled with thousands of stunning shrimp. I did a quick tour and shared some shrimp keeping tips, but honestly, there is still much more I wanted to learn. Earlier this year, Kelvin and I crossed paths again, this time on the beautiful island of Phuket in Thailand, where we both went on holiday. I knew it was the perfect chance to sit down with Kelvin again and dive deep into the secrets behind his success. I asked tons of questions and recorded everything so we can all learn together what it takes to become a master breeder like Kelvin Wong.
If there's a breeding season going on in this tank, you can actually use the water and pour over, and you realize the other tank will start breeding also. Before you put your hand in your tank and think of something to do, think 3 times. You must think, is it really necessary that you do this thing? Green water, it will suck the nutrients from the soil. If you don't get rid of it soon, you can't grow green water anymore. You imagine every shrimp is $1,000, so you'll be very careful. Think properly before you do anything to the tank.
It's a long interview packed with useful information, so grab yourself a drink, sit back and enjoy the video. Did you have any problems when your shrimp start to die in your tanks, and what did you do to fix it? Can you tell us more about this, please?
I faced many problems, nobody to teach me. Most of the problem people get is always these two. It's either ammonia spike or temperature fluctuation. Ammonia spike, especially with the new ADA soy and all that, brand new tank, there will always be spikes coming and going. What you should do, if you see your shrimps die one by one every day, the first thing, what I would do, change the water. Change as much as you can. If you have a UGF setup, you can change all the water. Just leave the water in the UGF alone. And then monitor. If it continue to die for a week, maybe every day you die 1 shrimp a day, then don't even bother looking for the solution. Just reset the whole tank. That is for ammonia spikes. Second problem usually is the temperature. If you see your shrimplets dying, shrimplets are stronger, juveniles are stronger. So during ammonia spikes, it's always the adults that are dying. If you see the young shrimps dying, so most probably temperature problem, especially when you change water. Because the temperature in the tank and the temperature of the water that you are changing, maybe the contrast is too much. If it's using a chiller, your water outside will be different temperature, so you have to drip it in slowly. If it's aircon room, the whole room, it should be fine.
So what is the difference between temperature of new water and old water? Should be like 1 degree, 3 degrees? What is acceptable?
Try to be as close as possible.
So if your new water is very close temperature to the old water, can you just do massive water change without dripping, just like straight away?
Can. I will do that. But it also, there is a factor you have to consider is the size of your tanks. So if it's a small tank, the volume of water is less. So the fluctuation will be more. That's why I always recommend people to get at least 2 feet. Any shrimp depth is usually these two. Yeah, don't need to go and find for other problems. And even you have other problems, don't waste time looking for a solution for everything. Don't need to find the exact cause. If it's dying every day for a week, just reset the whole tank. Otherwise, by the time you find the real cause, all your shrimps are dead. Some hobbies, they are very determined to find that, why my shrimp die, why my shrimp die. This is a big mistake. Unless you can take all your shrimps and put in another tank, and you can slowly find the cause. But if not, just reset the whole tank. Don't go and spend too much time finding for the fault. Other than these two, there are other major causes of deaths which I have encountered. One is mosquito fogging in Singapore because they want pest control. So you make sure the fumigation does not enter your tank. If not, there will be very big death massacre. You can't do anything about that. Even you change water, is also usually it doesn't help.
So you're talking about pesticide spray?
Yes, pesticide spray. Yeah, don't go and spray pesticide near your shrimp tank, in your shrimp room. You know, even if there are ants around, don't do that because it will enter the water. It will be on the surface. The shrimp might be okay, but once you change water, you move the surface, it goes down and all your shrimps will be wiped out. That is, I've encountered that before. It's very, very scary.
Is there anything else might cause the death of the shrimp?
Another one is spinach. Make sure you buy organic spinach. You don't buy those non-organic spinach. Sometimes they use pesticides at that place where they grow the spinach. When you buy plants for your shrimps, sometimes they use fertilizer with copper content. So if you do not quarantine the plants and you just put it straight in your tank, all your shrimps will die straight away.
But if you don't have another tank, what to do? If some hobbyists contact me saying, I only have one tank, my shrimp die, what to do?
Shrimp keeping, you cannot have only one tank. You always must have one spare tank.
Yeah.
But I understand that a lot of new hobbyists, they only have one tank.
Yeah.
If you have only one tank, I suggest you buy cheap shrimps or come and take cows from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, to get hang of it.
Just to get familiar with the shrimp, start to breed the low grade first. Yeah. So what you do if your tank has ammonia spike and your shrimp start to die? How to fix ammonia spike then?
The only way to fix ammonia spike, first one is to make big water change. And how you know there is ammonia spikes? When shrimps start dying, and the rest of the shrimps, they have very slow activity. And then you have a few shrimps die, in 2 days or what. If it goes on for 1 week, do a reset. But the first step is to make a huge water change. And if you have a Chem Prime, what I would do, I would put some Chem Prime inside. And
so Chem will eliminate the ammonia?
Chem will help do something about the ammonia. It will help.
So make it less toxic?
Make it less toxic, something like that. And increase the oxygen to release, it will help also for the ammonia. Sometimes, like for example, the spinach, if it has a copper content or the fertilizer, you can see all the shrimps will die immediately in 1 or 2 hours. But they are not dead. There's a way to rescue them. You have to take all of them, put it into a breeder box, isolation box, put in another tank. And then you use an air stone and put inside the breeder box, and on the air stone, it's like CPR for the shrimps. Even if the shrimps are spinning around in the isolation box, it's okay. After a while, some, not all, will come alive again.
Maybe it's easier just not to feed any spinach at all. What do you say? What do you reckon?
Spinach is still important. They need
so
the protein.
do you feed spinach to your shrimp?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Every week I will do one time. Or sometimes the food have to have some spinach content.
Okay.
After a while, when you do that, I realize that it helps a bit. You can see the breeding, the activity. It's definitely a difference when you feed something with spinach and without spinach. You will see a difference.
So you recommend to feed at least once a week with
yes,
spinach?
Either fresh spinach or the pellet food with spinach content.
Or boiled spinach.
Yeah, boiled spinach, of course. Yeah.
When you have a problem, like when your shrimp start to die, you said to reset the tank. What is the reset the tank?
Okay, there are 2 types of reset for me. One is a soft reset, one is a full reset. So usually if the tank is still relatively new, I don't want to, reset the whole tank. I'll be wasting soil and all that. So what I do, if like example, the shrimps are dying like a few every day, and then the tank is only maybe 3 or 4 months old, or maybe 6 months old. What I will do is, I will take all the shrimps out, I'll put my hand in the tank, I will shuffle the soil, make the whole tank very cloudy. Then I will do 100% water change, maybe 1 time, maybe 2 times. It's to get all the debris and all the ammonia out. Yeah, then after that, when the temperature settled down, everything settled down, I'll put the shrimp back in and I'll try again. Yeah. If it still continue dying, I reset the whole tank, full reset. That means all the soil out, change everything and brand new. Very important, you must wash the sponge filter. Sometimes sponge filter, they get clogged. It's an ammonia bomb also. Try not to use it again, just throw it away. Throw the sponge away, use a new sponge. Because once it's dry, it's stuck inside the sponge. Then when it's wet again, you turn it on again, it causes ammonia spikes.
So you recommend to throw away the sponges?
Yes, don't dry it and use it again. If you're going to dry it, throw it away. If it's still wet, you can clean it and you can use it again.
Okay, when you cycle the tank, I know it takes a long time to cycle, and lots of people asking me, how long would it take to cycle the tank? And I normally say it take about 2 months at least, for the tank to fully cycle and mature. What is your opinion? And do you have any way to cycle the tanks much faster than 2 months, for example? Is there any way?
The fastest way to cycle a tank, get a canister filter. Inside the canister filter, take away all the sponge and everything. Just fill it up with media, maybe Chem matrix or EHEM substrate, anything. What I do is I always have 1 canister running on my cow tank. So it's always moving, it's always seasoned. The bacteria inside is very full. So when you set up a new tank, if there's a problem, maybe the ammonia doesn't start to go down, or it's like the cycling is stuck, the ammonia can't go away. I will take this canister and I hook it on to this new tank, just for during the cycling period. This will increase the speed by a lot. Instead of using new water to start the tank, take water from another tank, the old season tanks, use the water there, and also use the old sponge filter. This will increase the time by a lot, but canister really make a lot of difference.
So you're sitting with plenty of nutrifying bacteria which live in the canister filter.
Yes, it's already a fully established bacterial colony within the canister, not a brand new canister.
Yeah.
Brand new canister, it will still be faster, but of course not as good.
Few times I experienced that my water in the tank turned green. Do you know why it's happened and how to deal with this problem?
Green water is either too strong light or the lights are on for too long. So basically we try to maintain it at 10 hours. But the main cause of green water, I feel, is you on the lights when the tank is still cloudy. If the tank is clear, the light will go through the water and it hit the wall, you get green wall. But if the tank is dirty and the soil haven't settled down or the bacteria powder haven't settled down, it's very cloudy. The light shining on the cloud, it will make algae grow on it, and that's how you get green water. So my suggestion is wait for the water to clear first, then you blast the lights.
So it may take a few days, yeah?
But the trick is, on the first day of your cycling, put your TDS higher, maybe 150, 200 or more. This will help the water clear faster. For my case, usually 2 days it will be clear.
After 2 days, you switch on the lights?
Yes, you switch on for 10 hours. There's no point for the lights to be on when the water is cloudy. So if you really get the green water, somehow accident or something, you get the green water, you have to solve it fast. Because if you take your time, maybe you use a blackout system or what, it will affect your green walls. Green water, it will suck the nutrients from the soil. If you don't get rid of it soon, you can't grow green wall anymore. After that, the setup won't be so good. So you have to solve it fast. You can do a full water change and put the UV light. The UV light will kill all the green water in the shortest span of time. Once it's cleared, do another full water change. Maybe you want to add a little bit new soil, add more bacteria powder and let it cycle again.
What I noticed, normally green water starts with cloudy water. So normally the water become cloudy slightly first, and then after a while it become green.
Not really. It's the cloudy water that causes the green water. Yeah, it's cloudy. So you don't on the lights when it's cloudy.
Yeah.
Then you add the UV light.
It's depending on the strength of UV light.
You get a strong UV light. Get it clear fast because the longer you take, it's going to absorb the nutrients from the soil. Then later your soil will be exhausted, and next time, even after everything's done, the green wall won't grow anymore.
All right, Kelvin, how would you advise to choose the seller who to buy from? So many sellers around, many people selling the shrimp. What they need to be looking at before buying shrimp? Most
important, you got to see the grow out tank. See the breed-through rate. Is this a high breed-through rate or low breed-through rate? I mean, you have to see for yourself. The important is the grow-out tank. Of course, you have to see the breeding tank also. If it is possible, it's best to go down to the breeder's house to see. Maybe if you see the photo on Facebook, it's a very nice shrimp. But then the grow-out tank, you look at all the babies, it's totally different. And you don't want to be disappointed when the shrimp arrive at your doorstep. If a person selling you don't send you pictures of the grow-out tank, I suggest you don't buy. At least you have to look a little bit like the parents that you've seen.
But maybe they just move all the bad shrimps away from grow-out tank. So how you know that?
This is trust. When we're buying livestock, people don't really buy the shrimp as the shrimp. We buy from the breeder. That means we're buying the breeder name and the trust and integrity of the breeder. Not really just buying the animal for what it is.
So you advise to buy from famous breeders or breeders whose reputation is good?
Yes, at least someone has been around for a long time. And he has good reputation. Many people have bought from him before and no complaints,
And we're talking about expensive shrimp here now.
Yes,
high-grade shrimp,
yes,
right?
high-grade shrimp.
So if you want to invest in high-grade shrimp, you need to research where the shrimp come from. If it's a breeder, breed them for a long time.
Yes, even if you buy low-grade shrimp, it's better to buy from a reputable breeder. For me, sometimes I buy just to build relation so that I can learn a lot of things from the breeder. Sometimes when I buy the shrimp from somebody, I don't really want the shrimp. Maybe I look at his setup. Oh, very impressive. In the beginning when I first started, this guy win competition, and he breeding a lot. And then I want to learn more. I have to learn from somebody like that because I want to be like that. So I will go and buy something just to learn the knowledge. Because when I first started, knowledge is very hard to come by. There's no Google, you can't find anything there. So you only can learn from other breeders, the experienced ones, the older ones. Yeah, so sometimes you buy some shrimp, you go over to their place, maybe you take a plane, fly over and learn. You don't have to follow everything they do.
Like I did, came to your shop.
Yes.
So basically I'm now I'm just following Kelvin's advice in everything because I know you're breeding high-grade shrimps. I saw your grow-out tanks. There's plenty of beautiful shrimps there, and I really want to be the same. So this is what you need to do: is just to go to visit the breeders who has reputation, who breed the shrimp a lot, and learn from them, right?
Yep.
So what about learning from YouTube, Facebook?
I'm very aware there are very little information out there, but don't believe everybody and everything. It's good to watch, YouTuber, or it's good to go to people breeding room and learn, listen to what they say, ask your questions. But at the end of the day, you choose what to follow. And one thing to note is, don't follow everything just because there's no other information. Then you go and follow this breeder or YouTuber. You must look at their tank. If they have like empty tanks, they themselves not breeding very well, although they can talk very well, Sometimes YouTuber, they just need to find content, find something to say. It may not be proven, or maybe they just think that it's proven. Don't follow them blindly, because if you listen advice from somebody that can't breed, you yourself, your tank going to end up same as them. You won't be able to breed also, right? Yeah. If you want to get rich, you got to ask advice from a rich man. You don't ask from a poor man. I mean, this is logical thinking. So don't follow everything that YouTubers say or other breeders say. You got to see for yourself. Is he breeding well? Or maybe all his shrimps are bought. He bought all of them. Or maybe sometimes they have deaths every day. You don't know. So you have to explore more and try yourself more. If you want to follow, then you follow somebody that is breeding very well. You can see the breeding tank, there are shrimplets everywhere. Not like breeding tank and then, all the adults there. Anybody can do that, money buy only. Yeah, that's how you got to choose the breeder where you're buying the shrimps from, especially the information where you are getting it. You have to select carefully. If not, you will run into, some problems.
There are so many shrimp food in the markets, and I try many of them, and I'm not sure if it's really important to feed specific food to the shrimp, or any food can do. What would you advise?
I don't make my own shrimp food. I buy a lot. I buy from everybody and I try. It is not the shrimp food that all the shrimp crowd do that is the best. It's not your shrimp's favorite food is the best food. But of course, if your shrimp food has all the nutrients in it, but the shrimp don't like it, that's not good also. Because actually shrimps, they know what they need. For me, I try all my food, and my staple food, the one that I always use, I realized that the breeding is more, the survival rate is more. And when I change food, because I try all the other food, sometimes they breed, the shrimp breed, but the eggs drop. I'm not sure, but I think there is a certain content in the food that improves the breeding also. Maybe the protein or something like that. And it takes time to test. So for my food, I really tested for years. And not only me, customers and friends and my supplier, they tested. So far, this food, they use stable. It is very stable and the shrimps breed very well. But also, sometimes the shrimps don't get bored. I get bored of feeding the same food every day. So now I make mixed packages, I put other food. But all the food we have tested and it's working very well.
I can see that many breeders from Taiwan, like Vin, for example, they have a special food, and other breeders, I'm not going to say the name. So all the food, they look the same to me. They're all the same shape, the same color, and I'm starting to think maybe it's the same. Maybe they all have the same food.
It's the shape, because they're using the same machine to pump it up. But the content is mostly different. It smells different, sometimes different color and all that kind of thing.
So it's very important to choose the food which is good for shrimp.
Yeah,
so some of the food might not get your shrimp breed, for example.
Yes, sometimes you see, why my shrimp buried, but I don't see the baby coming out, Why they drop the eggs. And okay, there may be many factors. Might be temperature fluctuation, might be some not enough hiding space or whatever. But food is one of the factors. Sometimes the fish don't spawn. You change the diet and they keep spawning. The increase of protein or the nutrients are different. So I believe in shrimps is the same. What we do is when you get something proven and tested and it's working well, stick with it.
Okay.
So that's why I stick with my food. Of course, I'm always testing other food in the market, So when I get better, I will change. Until now, this one that I'm selling for years is doing very well. Yeah, my staple food.
In the past, I tried to make my own DIY food for the shrimp. I just use some ingredients, basic like soybeans, spinach, just dry it and grind it in a coffee grinder. Then I try to make the perfect kind of balanced food for the shrimp. Any advice? Should we try to make our own food? Because lots of people trying this.
You can try at your own free time. Of course, you make your own food is much cheaper. But there are a lot of things to consider. Like I said, the content we don't know. What we should put inside, we don't know. May be good, but you know, for me, I like to buy a lot so I can get the best for my shrimps.
So it's still kind of gambling, yeah?
The shrimp may eat it every day and you know, you see them all crowd around, but then the breeding fail and it grows slower, or maybe the color is not so nice. You know.
You don't need to look for the food that shrimp like. So the food should be also balanced. So
must be balanced, and the shrimp must like. Some may be full of nutrient, but the shrimp don't touch it. And then it's just dispersed in your tank. Then there's no point.
No point,
Yeah.
So let's move on to bacteria powder, because I know you're using your own bacteria powder and I'm starting to using two in my tanks and it works perfectly well. So I believe the bacterial powder needed for growing green walls, is it right?
It helps the growth of green balls
What's
because
the main purpose of bacterial powder then?
when you have the good bacteria in your tank, prevent the ammonia spike. So ammonia has to be neutralized by the bacteria. So if a good bacteria and a lousy bacteria, the lousy bacteria, if your ammonia spike come, it cannot convert the ammonia in time. Then you have ammonia spike and all your shrimps will be injured. So the good bacteria the ammonia spike come, it will neutralize it. So the tank will be stable. Good bacteria, you will realize your water is always clear because it takes away all the debris and all the dirty thing in your tank. They will always have clear water. And in shrimp keeping, bacteria is very important. Once your bacteria is flourishing, everything is good, the copypods are coming out, definitely your shrimp breed very well. And they will be the activity, the movement, all will be very good.
Can you see if it's tank doing well by just looking at it?
Most of the time you can see after you've seen for many years, the water is clear, the green walls are up, the copypods, you can see them. And usually in these cases, the bacteria, you know that everything is good.
Are they all the bacteria the same, or all the bacterial powders that?
All different. There are a lot of different, yeah.
Did you test many bacteria?
I tested 7 over bacteria, seven or 8 different type of bacteria. And I chose the one that I felt was very stable, yeah. The water clear fast, the cycling time is faster, the green wall came out faster. You know, some bacteria, the no green wall come out. I'm not saying that green wall is important, very important, but I'm saying that once the green wall is up, you know that the cycling is in motion, you know, it's moving. So once I use this bacteria, I see, wow, the green wall, everything all very nice, you know. Some in patches, some they never start cycling. So I choose the one that, you know, has the best, nicest green wall. It's just a sign, not that the green wall is very good, it's just a sign that the cycling is moving well. All the ammonia is being converted. That's how I chose, like, okay, I like this bacteria. Some people may say that no need bacteria for shrimp tank. You don't need any bacterial powder. Some people may say. I'm not saying that's not true. It's okay. If you have very little shrimps, you don't need much bacterial powder. Because what happens is, this bacterial powder is actually, it's like a ammonia for the bacteria to convert. So you have to put bacterial powder. If you are going to intend to put a lot of shrimps in your tank, you need the water to be accustomed to this much of population. It has to be ready to convert all these, the shrimp pool and the food you're going to put in. So if you have very little shrimps, you don't need very strong bacteria. So you don't, even if you don't put bacterial powder, the tank will have bacteria by itself. But if you are intending to breed a lot of shrimps, at the beginning part when you're cycling, you have to have a good bacterial powder to start the motion going, you know. The water has to be accustomed with high population.
So to grow bigger colony of bacteria.
Yes,
beneficial bacteria.
Correct, yeah, you need a bigger and stronger colony of bacteria. You need the bacterial powder
to handle the big population of the
yes,
tank. Yes,
the big population that you're coming
but
in.
if you have only 10 shrimp in a tank, you don't need to use it.
Yeah, you don't really need to have it, because if it's too strong, the bacteria have nothing to eat. It may harm the shrimp.
So now let's move on to the next product that you like to use in your setups is bacterial bag, or lubao bag also known, microbial bags, whatever you call it. So why are you using this product? What's the point to use it, and is it really necessary to use it?
Used to be unnecessary, in my opinion. I never use it. But
before you never use it?
Before I never use it, because the tank is doing very well. Don't do stupid thing. Don't go and add anything into a tank. But recently, because of the ADA shortage, the other soil in the market, the nutrient is not enough. sometimes soil you put in, there's no ammonia. So without the ammonia, they can't kickstart the cycling. The cycling can't begin because
You need
the
to add
bacteria,
food or something.
yeah,
like
the
that.
bacteria has to eat something,
Yes,
and then
of
to
course.
convert. So that's where the lupao come.
But what about the bacterial powder? Why you just don't use bacterial powder for that? Or is not enough? you think?
Bacterial powder also can, but bacterial powder after a while very fast is gone. The lupao is there. It will
All the
continue,
time,
continue this.
So bacterial powder you have to add regularly.
Yes, but then we don't do water change. I don't do water change very regularly, so I let the lupao do the work. Yeah.
Are they just kind of similar function of bacterial
Yes.
powder and Lubabex?
Yeah,
Is they
yeah,
quite
it's-
similar products?
Or the product is not very similar. Of course, they do share some of the same content, but the main thing, as I said before, the lupao is slow release because the bacteria is fast release, and after a while, it's all gone.
But in general, they do the same job, right? The both products.
Yes,
they are
almost
adding
the same.
some
Yes.
Food for your bacteria. In your tank.
Correct. Lupao bag, right? A lot of people mistaken that when they say holiday food, they think that all the shrimps will go and eat on the lupao bag. Yes, that is true. That is also part of it, but that's only for the beginning. After a while, the main purpose of the lupao is that it causes a biofilm around the tank, so the shrimp will eat around the tank, not on the bag by itself. Yeah, but what I'm saying is for my own lupao bag. I'm not. Other people bag may be different,
But Lubabex is basically adding ammonia to your
Yes,
tank, yeah?
unless necessary, like you are using other soil, not ADA soil, or you are using ADA soil but used ADA soil, not enough nutrient.
Or old tank, yeah, for example.
Yeah, old tank, you add the lupao back. When the nutrients are not enough already, you can see the green wall is a sign, it start to fade. That's when you add the lupao back. Or when your tank is very crowded and you don't really feed often, okay, put the lupao back. Everything is fine, please don't touch. Don't need to
add
add
lupao
the
back.
back. No need to add the back, yeah.
And what about the small tank size? For example, 30 liters, 40 liters, like 10-gallon tank. Is it still good to add Lubabex, or it should be like big tanks for that?
No, it doesn't matter the tank size. As long as the nutrient not enough,
Yeah.
just add the lupao back.
And this Lubabex is also providing nutrients for green walls, right?
As in nutrients, what I'm saying is ammonia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ammonia converted to nitrate.
Yes.
Nitrate is food for plants, right? So
Correct.
is it also like a fertilizers, yeah, for the
Something
plants?
like that. Yeah,
Something like
it's something for the green wall or the plants to.
Yeah.
They need to absorb the ammonia to grow.
And because you have ammonia, that means you have a food for bacteria. Bacteria eat food, multiply in the tank and the surface, and shrimp eat bacteria. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. The food, use a old trusted brand. You can be anyone. Doesn't have to be mine. But for me, I trust this. For the bacteria, I would use it at all times because I'm always putting a lot of shrimps. If you have very little shrimps, you can put a little bacterial powder or you don't put. It's fine. But if you want to get ready for a huge colony, please train the bacteria in your tank with a bacterial powder. Let it, accustomed to huge population.
Okay, I understand. Bacterial powder, Lubabex, they adding ammonia, adding food for bacteria. What about if I just put like goldfish in the tank and let them, just feed them and let them poo in the tank and create some ammonia? So this is kind of the same.
Yeah, it's kind of the same. I always put goldfish in my tank, but the main reason is to eat all the unwanted algae. And maybe some snail and all that kind of thing. It's a very good.
I saw you doing this.
Yeah,
I'm starting
yes.
to doing this. I actually bought 2 goldfish now and I started putting in the tanks because of that. So when you cycle your tank, you have lots of cotton algae, right?
Yes.
Which is like you need to clean. Otherwise, the shrimps will not eat it. They eat it, but very slow, and they don't really like it. Yeah, from my experience. So the goldfish is good to help it.
Yes.
And it also train bacteria in the tank, right?
Correct. And they also move the soil around. So all the ammonia pockets will be gone.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yes.
And what about if some people don't have access or cannot buy bacterial powder or Lubabex? Would you advise to put the fish in the cycle tank just to help with ammonia and everything?
Whether you can get the bacteria or not, I will put goldfish in the tank. Either in olden time, other breeder, they don't use goldfish. They will put a lot of cows, so that they put 100 shrimps inside a tank. So there is a life in the tank. Firstly, they can monitor whether the tank is stable.
And bioload as well.
Yeah. Secondly, the bioload is starting. So the shrimps it's like a living condition. They will know that this tank is for living condition for the main shrimps before they come.
So next time when you want to add 100 high-grade shrimp, the tank will not crash.
Yes, you know that it's stable. If to see whether the tank is stable after you use the goldfish, after you cycle everything, I recommend put some cows to monitor before you put in expensive shrimp.
Would you give any advice how to start the hobby, what shrimp to buy?
You can take cows or cheap shrimps first. You test.
So you wouldn't advise to buy expensive shrimp straight away? Yeah?
It's okay to buy expensive shrimp straight away, but not on a new tank. Because you don't know whether the tank is stable. Up to now, I don't know whether the tank is stable after even ammonia is 0, nitrate 0, especially when it's active soil. You know, different batches, you have different ammonia intakes. Sometimes you cycle for 3 weeks, sometimes you cycle for 4 months. And sometimes you cycle for 1 month, is ammonia 0, then later ammonia come back again. Always use a cheap shrimp or cow shrimps. Monitor for a few months. Okay, everything is good. The shrimps are all rushing for the food. You know, they are healthy. They started buried, some shrimplets come out. Okay, you know the tank is ready. Take away all these shrimp, put the expensive shrimp in. You know that if anything happened to the shrimp, it's not your tank, it's the shrimp. So usually it's
because
safe.
your old shrimp thrive.
Yes, but there's a very bad habit about shrimp keepers, even myself. When I know I'm going to buy a very expensive shrimp, what I do, I go and set up a new tank. I'm very excited, so I get everything brand new and I wait for the shrimp to come. That is very bad mistake. What you should do is use your, it's a healthy, all the shrimps are growing, you take out all these shrimp, you put into your new tank. Because the young shrimps are very strong. So it's okay, you put in a new tank. The seasoned tank, the good one, okay, after you take out the juveniles from another lineage or whatever, then you put your new shrimps, $500 per shrimp kind, you put them there. Then it's safe. Yeah. This is the way I would prepare the tank for expensive shrimp.
From your experience, what do you think? How long would it take for the tank to be fully mature, ready for shrimp?
There is no time spent.
No time.
Because different batch of soil is different. So that's why I said use the cows. Use the cows, monitor them, or use a cheap shrimp, monitor them. If they start buried, most important when they start eating. When a lot of shrimp start eating, okay, that's when you know it's ready for good shrimp, expensive shrimp.
When I was in your shop, I saw you breed a lot of shrimp. What is your secret? Any tips how breed lots of shrimp like you do?
When this tank is breeding very well, and other tank is not breeding very well, you can take the water from the tank that is breeding very well and pour it over to the other tank. It will help. Because these shrimps, I believe that they spread the breeding hormones. Yeah, and it's in the water, unlike we are human in the air. For aquatic animals, they are in the water. So if there's a breeding season going on in this tank, you can actually use the water and pour over. And you realize the other tank will start breeding also. And also one more thing is a logical thing is, if the tank is not doing well, stop buying shrimps. Let it season out, everything is good. And when the tank is breeding very well, it's a time to add more female. Don't miss out the opportunity. When the tank is doing well, buy more female, throw inside, you all will breed. Yeah. When it's not doing well, reduce the don't go and buy anymore. Let it work itself out.
Or move it to the tank which is breed better, yeah.
Or share the water.
Yeah, share the water, yeah.
Basically, it's just like sometimes there are bad times in shrimp breeding. Shrimp are dying, Then you see the shrimp dying one by one, all kind of thing, and it's not doing very well. Your investment is no good. So when it's doing well, you have to make up for the losses you have during the bad times. What I would do, I will buy more female. I throw in more female. I have to, when times are good, double up. It's just like business, When times are good, you expand. When times are no good, you reduce.
Yeah. I had some experience with the breeding shrimp. And sometimes you have, like you said, your tank is breeding very well. This one don't breed very well. But the tank which is breeding very well, for example, you have some cheap shrimp there. And then the tank which is not breeding, you have expensive shrimp. Would you recommend to swap the tank and move all the cheap shrimp who is breeding to that tank?
I would do that if the cheap shrimps are really cheap and I don't give a damn about them. Because once you disrupt them, you change the tank, they will really stop breeding. Take a few months to acclimate again.
So if we move this expensive shrimp that don't breed in the tank for some reason, maybe it's new or something, to the tank which you already established long time ago and the shrimp breeding there. So would you recommend to do that? And
yes.
Yeah.
It can be. It will be better. It will be better than just putting in that tank waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe that tank had an ammonia spike you didn't know, and the shrimps didn't die, but they are weak and they are injured.
It's always I noticed that some tanks doing better than other tanks, right? So you have 2 tanks which doing absolutely great, but like 5 tanks which are not doing great. So would you recommend to move the best shrimp you want to breed in that 2 successful tanks?
Of course.
Yeah.
Always do that. Yeah.
Always do that.
Sometimes in the shrimp room, the tanks near the door, because people come in and out, the temperature keep fluctuating at that area, I feel.
Oh, really?
So those tanks, they don't really breed well. I use them as grow out tanks.
Or cold tank, yeah, for example. Yeah.
Yeah, like cow tanks, something like that. Those tanks are a place where they always breed well. Yeah, please put your better shrimps there. Yeah, sometimes it's too cold. Because for me, I try to 21, 22 degrees. So the one at the lower tanks like 20 or 19 degrees,
same.
The shrimps are like moving slower, breathing slower. So maybe you can adjust, you can play with it how you want to set up.
Yeah, use the bottom tanks for cold tanks, for example.
Yeah, use the bottom tank for cow tank, or sometimes you want to, for competition, you want the shrimp to be bigger, you use it in a cooler temperature and all that, grow slower.
Okay, now let's quickly talk about the shrimp coloration. How to keep shrimp blue, for example.
Of course, genetics is one thing, but water parameters will also play a part, especially blue boats and boa. If you want them to be very blue, I will use a UGF. Make sure that the pH is very stable. They need a very stable water because their original color is blue. If they turn pale, they turn white, actually it's because they are stressed. It's like fish. You know, when they are stressed, they become pale. When they are in breeding season, you see the colors are all very nice. Same for shrimps also. If you want them to be very blue, you have to minimize the water change, because every time you change water, actually it stresses the shrimp. Season tank, maybe 5 months, 6 months old tank, you realize that everything is more stable, the shrimps will be more blue. When brand new tank, you can't test it, but it's still not so stable. You will realize that the shrimps are like whiter. Basically, main thing, less water change and older tank. You will get the shrimps will be more blue.
There are some foods on the market that promising that it will increase the coloration of the shrimp. What do you think about that? Is it really true?
It will improve the shell quality. I think maybe there is more calcium inside and all that, but basically the colors are more related to the water parameters and the genetics. I think for shrimps, even if there is, it's not permanent. It's just a temporary thing. Yeah, what you want is something more stable.
Now let's talk about other colors. So what do you do to make the white color more bright?
Genetics is the most important. In terms of water parameters, you just got to keep your water very, very clean, especially for white shrimps, because when they molt, the body is very soft. This is what I believe is when the water is dirty, it gets stuck on the soft shell. And then when it hardens, the white shrimp become yellow. Yeah, because of the water quality during the time when it molt. Maybe if you have to, you do more water change for PRL, black fancy, red fancy, you know. Some people believe, actually I believe also the light is very important for white shrimps. Yeah, somehow it's like, because shrimps, they tend to blend in with surrounding, all animals do. So maybe the brighter lights are better for these white shrimps. I feel that it's really become whiter.
All right, if we start talking about the light, let me just ask the question about the light. Is it really important which light you're using in the shrimp tank?
Yes, for me it's very important. It has to be planted light, because I like green wall. Yeah, I like green wall because it's extra food, and it's also my sign. I look at the green wall to know if the tank is doing well. Your lights have to be planted lights, basically planted tank lights.
A good spectrum
for
plants.
Yeah, a good spectrum for plants. Anything for plants will be good for the algae. The rule of thumb is how many liters your tank, how many watts your light. But for me, I feel anything above 40 watts to 50 watts will be good. Less than that, like those...
wow, the 50 watts is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
But sometimes it's like 50 watts, but 3 tank below.
You're talking about LED light, right?
Yes, LED light.
LED light.
LED light, yeah.
But you don't need to use it on full power all the time, right?
Different brand, they have different intensity. So you have to adjust in such a way that, you know, the hair algae don't start growing. The LED
so once you see the hair algae, reduce the light.
Reduce the light. Yeah. But the timing, you try to fix it 10 hours. 8 to 10 hours.
So 10 hours is the perfect time for light, yeah? A day.
You must give them some blackout. And make sure there is good coverage. You know, sometimes like the way I set up my tank is long way. You know, and so make sure the back have light, the front have light. The green wall grow uniformly.
What happens if you're using bad spectrum light, like ceiling light, or, you know, some people do DIY lights, like I did before.
Yes, yes.
I put like LED strips, but then I realized that it's not a good idea because I start to have some bad algae. Is it true?
If you're using the light, they're missing some of the spectrum. There will be some problem, maybe brown algae, maybe the green water whitish. I used to like fluorescent lights the most, but always spoil, and then it's very hard to get parts nowadays.
Yeah, this is another question. So I saw lots of breeders using fluorescent light. It's called fluorescent light, like a T5 tubes and stuff. And you told me before that this light works the best for growing green balls and the best for the plants because they have a very good spectrum for the plants.
It has the same spectrum like the sun, natural light. Yeah.
Would you advise to use these tubes?
Yes, if you want, you can. But for me, I change because it is not easily accessible, the spare parts. If you have a few tanks, it's okay. For me, I have a lot of shrimp room and all that. It's very expensive. The electricity is very expensive.
So they use more power than the LED lights.
Much more power.
And I also noticed that they create a lot of heat as well.
Yes.
Heating the tank, so you need more power on the air corner and stuff.
Yeah. And maintenance, every 6 months you have to change the tube or something.
Yeah, so it's best to stick with the good quality LED lights. Yeah, just to save the money.
Yeah, if you have a big shrimp room, you need to buy a lot.
I think we missed a very important question about the water change, because lots of breeders and keepers now talking about the importance of water change, and some people say that you don't need to do any water change at all in the shrimp tanks, and some people say that it's very important to do regular water change. So what is your opinion on that?
There is no right or wrong when you want to water change or how you want to water change. But for me, using my setup, the thick soil with UGF, what I usually do, if it's a brand new tank, just the ammonia just reached 0, for the first 3 months, I will do water change every week. Maybe it's about 20% because the soil is new. ADA, Amazonia soil, leaching a lot of ammonia. So for the first 3 months, I will do weekly water change. After that, I would do generally about twice a month. No point to do a lot of water change unless there is a lot of shrimp in the tank. Or, okay, maybe if there is a shrimp death, then I will do a water change maybe 80%, 90%. Then I will monitor. So if there are more deaths going on, I'll reset the tank. But usually it's okay after that. I don't see a need to change every week unless it's a new setup. So for the first 3 months, do water change every week. After that, maybe twice a month, once a month is okay. If the tank does not have many shrimps, maybe say just a small breeding colony, so there's no point to keep changing every week. And one important thing to note is don't do water change one day after another day, because when you do a water change, the shrimp molt, you do another water change after that, you may kill the shrimp because you want to molt again and you can't molt. You just bought a new startup colony, maybe you bought 10 high-grade shrimps. They have just started to breed. Everything is doing well, you see copepause, water is clear, everything is good. I recommend you just lay off the water change. If the tank is big and there are so little shrimps, there's very little ammonia output. Before you put your hand in your tank and think of something to do, think 3 times. You must think, is it really necessary that you do this thing? Like put a plate in the tank or put the chola wood. Does it help the shrimp at all? You must think properly. Sometimes I understand you are excited, you just got into the hobby, you want to make your tank nice. But you must think back, does my shrimp really need it? Because all these small things like coconut husk and all that in the tank, there's no benefit. Or maybe the benefit is that you feel good that you did something, right? But most of the time it's a bad thing, for the shrimp. So if you feel like doing something to the tank, sometimes I understand, I was a newbie once also. You just want to do something. What I suggest is you go and make more tank. Once you have a lot of tanks, there's always something for you to do. Yeah, so don't go and add unnecessary stuff in your tank, Especially things that are clay or stone or wood, anything that leaches or metal that can rust. Even if you say it's stainless steel, but please don't trust it. Anything plastic is okay. So keep the tank simple. Soil, moss, the sponge filters, plastic. The UGF is plastic. And I think you will have much lesser problems. Prevention is better than cure. Yeah, and try not to touch the soil, especially active soil. They always have ammonia or something below, or the accumulated dirt from long time. You come up, you get ammonia spike. And you won't know when it's ammonia spike because the bacteria in the tank will neutralize the ammonia already, but then the shrimps are already injured. So when you test, you can't see the ammonia, but the spike is already came and gone. Yeah, and shrimps don't die immediately when you do something wrong. So you don't know what you do wrong, you know. They will die maybe like a week or 2 weeks later. So the best thing is don't touch the tank and set up correctly. You know, when you need to do something, think 3 times. Do you really need to do it? Don't do unnecessary stuff. You imagine every shrimp is $1,000. Maybe if your shrimp is $2, you don't care. You know, you can do whatever you want. You know, as long as you're happy. But if you really want to keep shrimps properly, maybe you imagine the shrimps are very expensive. So you'll be very careful and you think properly before you do anything to the tank.
Okay, Kelvin, tell me the biggest problem you faced from your experience.
For me, the biggest problem I face every day is not enough tank. Too many shrimp. I got no place to keep them. I have to swap the shrimps around because some tanks are bigger, some tanks are smaller.
I know, Kelvin, you're selling your shrimps. This is your business. This is what you do for a living. What is the biggest problems you face with the customers?
I have encountered some customers. You know, sometimes I teach them what to do, how to set up the tank, and the shrimp die. They don't come back to me. They look for another breeder or another person, and the other person is maybe a competitor. They will surely say, "Oh, Kelvin did this wrong, that did wrong." It's very common. This is business, and you don't come back to me, and then in their heart they start to hate me, and they think that, you know, I make your shrimp purposely die, and.
Or they maybe think that your shrimp are not strong enough and die in their tanks, right?
Yeah, or maybe they think that I give you wrong advice. I want your shrimp to die so that you come back and buy more. Yeah,
okay.
so I think we make this YouTube video so everybody has the same information. So you don't think that, you know, I have any bad intention or anything like that. I feel that when the customer hate you, everything you say is wrong. You can't change their mind.
We start to talk about the other ways to breed shrimp, other ways to keep the shrimps, and I know there are many ways to keep shrimp. Some people using thin soil method with only sponge filters. Some people just use a very classic thick soil.
Yes.
And some people hate UGF, say that UGF is wrong, and they don't use the UGF for some reason. I know you cannot say that your method is ideal. I mean, what would you suggest? What method to use, and who to believe? You know, so many methods.
When you ask me for advice, when anyone asks me for advice, you must understand that this is what I would do. I'm not telling you that you should follow. You know, and I also encourage people to look at what other people are doing, absorb everything, and try out whichever you like. But if it's not working well, then you change. At least you have different options.
So you would suggest the people who just starting breeding shrimp or starting keeping shrimp, you would suggest to try different methods and find out what works for them?
I have tried almost every method there is, okay, and what I share is what I think is working the best.
This is my experience as well. I mean, I know that I went to your shop, I see lots of tanks, I see lots of beautiful shrimp, I see lots of grow-out tanks with many shrimps, like hundreds of thousands sometimes of them. So I know this method works for you. Yeah. So that should work for me if I copy it exactly the same, right?
The method that I use, I travel many parts of the world. When I see on Facebook or social media somebody have nice shrimp, when I see they have a big breeding colony, I want to learn. I think people that follow me on social media know I always try to meet other breeders. I go there to learn from them. And I consolidate all the skills I have and I use it for my own. The best that I feel.
So you say you travel a lot. So this is where you get your shrimp from. Where you get your shrimp from? This is another question.
When I see a nice shrimp online, or sometimes friends share, "Wow, this breeder is very good," or something, or I will fly there. This is a beauty of the hobby or the business, is that I get to travel a lot because I want to improve myself. I will fly there. I will go to their breeding room. I'll talk to them. You know, even if they don't have very nice shrimps, but they are breeding a lot, I want to learn how can I improve. Not necessarily that I will follow their breeding setup, but at least I have the knowledge. You know, knowledge is priceless. When I come back, then I will assess my own situation and how do I improve from the knowledge that I have just learned. Another good thing about, you know, flying overseas is I get to get the different lines.
Preventing breeding as well, right?
If I have already,
if you have already that shrimp.
If I have the same shrimp, I have 3 different lineages of Stardust, or red Stardust, because I keep finding better and better. Even my red fancy, I go to Taiwan, I see, wow, this guy red fancy is very nice. Then I buy, but I already have, but I still buy because I want to build a better one. You know, I save time. As I said just now, we paying not for the shrimp, we're paying for the breeder's time. So you respect this breeder, you see the way you do. I respect, I buy some. Then I go to Vietnam, I see nicer, I get again. End up I have so many different lineages of the same shrimp. That's why I got a problem with not enough tank every time.
So Kelvin, where does your knowledge come from? Where you learn from?
When I first started, there is no information, almost no information. Now there is YouTuber like yourself giving a lot of good information. When I first started, there was no information. So all I can do is I keep visiting breeders, try to learn, make friends, and when I got problem, I can ask them. You know, at least I buy something, you know. When I ask them, it's not so uncomfortable. So they teach. It's important. You want to gain knowledge, you can buy shrimp from somebody that you respect and you think you can learn.
Do you make your own shrimp?
If I cannot find the shrimp that I like, example like my pure black line, crown head, I couldn't find anywhere to buy. So I make my own, but most of the time, I refine what I buy from other breeder. That means if I see this breeder have this shrimp I like a lot, I buy from him. And then I try to improve or maintain whatever I bought, at least maintain the minimum. Of course, if there is a room for improvement, maybe like no spider leg, I will try to make spider leg. Usually the shrimps that are available in the market, then save time, just buy and refine from there.
So if somebody already made the shrimp, there's no reason to do that. It's a lot of time consuming.
Yes,
right?
You have to be humble, you know, you don't think you are the best breeder in the world. So when you need to buy new line or, you know, you are new species, you have to find other breeders and buy them. So you can improve. If you start from scratch, then you got to build the shrimp all by yourself. It's a very long work, and I respect breeders that do that, you know. But if I were to do that, I don't know if my shrimp will be as good as the other breeder that has done it already. It's a very big question mark, you know. So, but I know for sure if I were to buy off him and I refine from there, I either be equal or better than him. I'm a very competitive person. I want my shrimp to be the best. So what I do, I buy from the best and I try to, some breeders are really good. There's no room for improvement. Then never mind, we just maintain, you know. I look at it, I'm very happy. If there is room for improvement, I try to improve from there. Yeah, if you build from your own, it's very hard work. And it may not be better than another person building something similar. And then you feel very disappointed. You know, you are always losing to someone. Yeah, I can't sleep if I do that.
So now we're talking about making new shrimp. What do you think in the future? Will we see some new shrimp coming in the near future? Because all available shrimp already made and nothing else to create, or is still something to create?
No, definitely there is a lot of shrimps to create. There will always be new shrimps. There are always very passionate hobbyists, you know. I know a few breeders, they are always thinking of, every time they are thinking of how to make new shrimps. New shrimps will always come because the older shrimps, in terms of a business sense, everybody has them. Then it's not easy to sell because you are competing with everybody. But if new shrimp and not many people have them, you get to sell them easily. Yeah, and of course it must be nice. If it's new shrimp but ugly shrimp, nobody cares. Yeah. So everyone in the shrimp business, they always want something new. Example, wow, the prices have dropped. Yeah. When it was new, you see the price is very high and a lot of people want. But now everybody have the supply is too much. So they will always come out with something new, something nicer, something better. And this is the fun of shrimp keeping. Yeah, it's not about just breeding and keeping them alive. The main thing is to build something new.
At this moment, you're breeding some Sunset Galaxy, Sunset Stardust.
Yes.
It's also relatively new.
Relatively new, yes. We're still refining.
So many breeders keep in secret their project, right, as well?
Definitely they will.
So maybe there is some new shrimp already made, but they're not going to tell you that until they have a
until they have quantity, colony, and if I see anything nice, I will be the first one to get. I try to be the first one.
Is this shrimp keeping hobby is growing right now or is not growing? What do you think?
I feel it's growing. It's growing very well. It's growing faster than what it was last time. But people saying shrimp market is dead. Prices have crashed. Nobody keeps shrimp anymore. From 2018 to now, I hear that all the time. But it never ends. There will always be new people. And there will always be new shrimps. It's more and more definitely now. There are a lot of new hobbies. Mainly thanks to YouTubers like yourself.
What's the difference in Singapore between your shop and another shrimp shops?
I'm a breeder. Example, if the shrimp die on the way, you need to replace the shrimp because all die. Anytime for me, I replace for you. I have lots. If you go to another shop, they will be losing money because all their shrimps they buy. So they have to replace to you is be more difficult.
To replace the
Yes.
shrimp, they need to buy the shrimp
Yes.
to replace it, so they
Yes.
lose the money.
Yeah, and they will not be very happy doing
Yeah.
that. For me, I'm happy to do that. I have lots of it. As I'm a breeder, you can come and see my grow out tank. For them, you can't see the grow out tank. You don't know whether the lineage is stable. You don't know whether the breeding stock is good. You know, maybe it's just a lucky mutation. You get a nice shrimp from all the ugly shrimp. Maybe they bought all ugly shrimp and they pick the nice ones and sell it to you as high grade. You know, so it's different. For me, you can come, you can see yourself, my breeding, everything, and then you can see, you know, oh, this is what it will look like when I buy the juvenile, how it will look like. You get a feel, you get know what you want, and you have a clearer view of what you're going to get in the future after you breed. So, yeah, that's the difference between me and other shops. If you buy from my distributors in other countries, you can't see their breeding tank, maybe all the shrimps from me. You can always look for me. I will send you videos of my grow out tank.
Okay, in any business you have bad customers, good customers. What is the good experience in your business?
Good experience. I have a customer. They tell me, thank you very much, Kelvin. You make me another source of income. They follow the setup, so they breed very well. And they got the lineage. Sometimes when they don't know what shrimp to buy, they ask me, what shrimp should I buy? You know, I want to invest in this business. I want to sell shrimps for additional income. So I will tell them, okay, this lineage, the breed-through rate is very high. You don't have much work to do. You just have to breed and then you can start selling. Of course, there are some cows. But in general, most of the shrimps are nice. So, and they do that and they breed a lot and they have excess shrimps and they sell and they have extra income. And I'm very happy for them. Some people think that high-grade shrimps are very expensive. It's okay, because when you buy the high grade, you have low grade, you have mid grade, you have high grade. The high grade don't sell so well, but the low grade and mid grade, they still can sell. The prices will be affordable. There is always something to sell. There is a competition, of course. Sometimes I post a picture of a shrimp, and then you see the competitor, they post the same, or they try to copy something similar. But it's okay. This is business. I think every hobby, every group, there is some of these people. Yeah, whatever you do, they just follow. You know, they try to imitate you. But I think it's a good sign. It means that I'm doing something right. That people like, people respect, and it's successful. That's why you have all these people copying whatever I do. One thing I think is not very good is people reporting to authorities. You realize in Singapore, nobody posts pictures of their setup at home, because there are people reporting home breeder. It's not allowed in Singapore. So I think these people that report and do this kind of underhand tactics is not good for the hobby. Yeah, these people are not good. But it happens. We don't have a choice. There are people like that.
So in Singapore, you're not allowed to breed the shrimp at home.
You're not allowed to sell from home.
And still, there are some shrimp keepers which are not very nice and can report the other keepers because they're jealous or something. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've
That's
been
not
through,
really good.
Been through all that. It's not good. They're harming the hobby.
Yeah.
They're harming the hobby.
Of course.
Yeah, but no choice. Some people are jealous. To remain competitive, you have to breed a lot. You need to improve yourself. For me, I always want to improve whatever I have. Every time I select the shrimps, I try to choose the best, always get the best shrimps. Breed a lot and always do your selection on time. Try to be as best as you can get. And also update yourself on, what other people are doing. And if they have nicer shrimp, better shrimp you like, fly over, and what I do, I will go to their breeding room and I'll buy the new lineage from them. And then I will refine it. I will try my best to make something better at what I got from them, or I'll try to refine so the next generation will be better and better. That's what I do, to remain ahead of the competition.
Yeah. So you're always improving your shrimp.
Yes, and if there's a chance for competition, I will try to join, and so that I know where I stand. So I try to have the nicest shrimp, because that's what my purpose of keeping shrimp is about. I can't sleep if somebody's shrimp nicer than mine. That's the main thing. Not about selling shrimp. I just want to,
You want your shrimp
to be nicer.
To be nice.
Yeah. If someone nicer, I feel very uncomfortable. Yeah. So that's what I aim for. So it also benefits my customers. They always get something, the best that I can provide. Whatever I said today came from my personal experience. It's up to you if you want to follow or not. So the things that I teach, not only today but all the time, it is what I would do. So it may not be right, it may not be wrong, but when you ask me a question, how to do something or how to solve this problem, I answer it by telling you what I would do. I hope you learn from my experience. You can make use of the information that I share, and I hope it helped you.
Okay, this was Kelvin Wong from KW Shrimp. Thank you, Kelvin, for meeting me in Thailand. It was a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for sharing so much information about shrimp keeping. I hope, guys, you learned a lot from him from today's video, and if you enjoyed that, please subscribe to my channel and follow my channel, because soon I'm gonna visit his shop, Kelvin shop again, and just to check out his beautiful shrimp. And I'm gonna share again lots of information, because Kelvin, very helpful guy. He always answers lots of my questions whenever I ask him. He's always happy to help, and I hope, guys, you're gonna learn from him as well, like I did, and we all together gonna breed tons of beautiful Caridina shrimp.
Okay, thank you very much. See you again.
See you again. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.